Well, it sure seems like I've been involved with death a lot lately. Doing funerals, counseling with people who are watching their loved ones die, helping families deal in the aftermath and the consequences of family members who die. I don't know if they're all COVID related. One I know was directly COVID related. The other ones, maybe it was a contributing factor. And some of them, maybe it's just this time we're in, and boy, funerals are different. I've done funerals over a radio with cars. I've done gravesides with people spread out all over. I've done gravesides where people crowded together because even in the face of risk and death, they want to be held and hugged and cry together and share things. And what does a Christian do in a time like this? You know, our world's scared to death sometimes. What if we get COVID and what if we die? What if you get in a car and have a car wreck and die, a plane crash and die? What if your heart attack happens now? But even the sub effects of COVID, what if that little twinge in my chest? Well, no, I'm not going to the hospital because I might get COVID and die. And it is a heart attack. You know, that mole's getting bigger and darker, but I'm not going to a doctor's office because, man, church, sure, we ought to go back to church. Well, you know, we might get COVID, and if we get COVID, we might die. So I want to talk a little bit about in this video about you and Jesus and death. And then next Wednesday, I'll put another one up that talks about when your loved ones die. Because I want to tell you, Christians, if we're going to be some kind of witness in this world, that we really do believe everything's going to be okay and God's got this, maybe the most telling thing about that is how we face our death. And let me be real clear here. I'm not talking about any Christian having a death wish. Some of us have a God wish, but not a death wish. And I'm not going to tell you in here to be foolish. I wear a mask a lot, and sometimes I don't. I don't want to be one of those who are so afraid to live for Jesus that I do nothing. But I want to share a couple of things. I want to ask you a question that Jesus asked at the death of his good friend Lazarus. Jesus said this, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die." Do you believe this? I'm going to tell you, Christians, we've got to decide whether we believe that Jesus is the resurrection and the life. And if he is, even though we die, we will live again. And if we really believe that, we truly never die. And that changes everything about how we face what's going on. We don't have to be reckless, but we do have to be courageous. You know, our Christian family has a long tradition of racing into danger for Jesus, taking care of sick people, disposing of bodies over and over and over again. And in the history of our world, in the history of this country, Christians have been the ones who are not afraid to die. We don't rush into danger. We don't do things for the gospel because we think somehow if we're doing a good thing, God will magically protect us. It's that we believe we have to do the things for God. And if we die, we do believe we will live again. And so truly never die. And I leave you with this thought from Revelation. "And I heard a voice from heaven saying, 'Write this, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Blessed indeed, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, for their deeds follow them.'" In this time of panic and people being afraid to die, we Christians are going to keep on doing the business of the Lord. And if we die, we get to rest, and our deeds will live on here. But don't be so afraid to die that you don't do anything for the Lord. And there's no deeds to follow you. If you're not a believer and you wonder about this whole Jesus resurrection life, not being afraid of death thing, please comment on this video and I'll get in touch with you, find somebody who can talk to you. Email me at steveridgelministry@gmail.com. I'll visit with you, because we do believe that Jesus died and rose again, and thus we never, ever will die.